The nation was in turmoil. February 2036 saw an increasingly authoritarian President Digby Bud Taraxia and his administration pushing for a constitutional amendment that threatened to reshape America's foundational principles. The amendment aimed to remove states' rights to legislate on abortion and marijuana, centralizing these powers at the federal level. This bold move was presented under the guise of promoting national cohesion and security, but it sparked fierce debate and resistance across the country. The language of the proposed amendment was clear and uncompromising. It sought to strip states of their rights to independently determine abortion laws and regulate marijuana legalization. The administration argued that a unified federal stance on these issues was necessary to prevent regional disparities and social unrest. However, critics saw it as a direct attack on state sovereignty and individual liberties. The potential impact of this amendment was profound. It threatened to nullify decades of state legislation and court rulings, imposing a one-size-fits-all policy on deeply personal and contentious issues. Legal scholars and civil rights activists raised alarms about the erosion of the 10th Amendment, which reserves powers not delegated to the federal government to the states or the people. Congress became a battleground for heated debates. Lawmakers clashed over the amendment, with impassioned speeches echoing through the chambers. Proponents of the amendment, led by staunch Taraxia supporters, argued that national security and unity necessitated such measures. Opponents decried it as an unprecedented federal overreach that trampled on states' rights and individual freedoms. Public forums and town halls were similarly contentious. Grassroots movements sprang up overnight, with advocacy groups organizing protests and rallies. Social media buzzed with hashtags both supporting and condemning the amendment, reflecting a nation sharply divided. Legal experts took to the airwaves and op-ed pages, dissecting the amendment's constitutionality and warning of its far-reaching implications. Governors and state legislators in affected states were quick to condemn the federal overreach. States with liberal policies on abortion and marijuana, such as California and Colorado, vowed to resist the amendment. Legal challenges were swiftly filed in federal courts, arguing that the amendment violated the principles of federalism enshrined in the Constitution. Scenes of civil disobedience played out in various states. Protesters gathered outside courthouses and state capitals, demanding that their states uphold their autonomy. Acts of resistance ranged from peaceful demonstrations to more extreme measures, highlighting the deep-seated opposition to the amendment. Undeterred by the backlash, President Taraxia's administration doubled down on its support for the amendment. In televised addresses and press conferences, Taraxia dismissed criticism as partisan obstructionism, insisting that the amendment was necessary for the nation's stability and security. The media landscape was dominated by coverage of the amendment debate. Mainstream news outlets provided extensive analysis and commentary, featuring voices from both sides of the issue. Social media amplified the conversation, with viral videos of protests and speeches galvanizing public opinion. International observers expressed concern over the amendment, questioning the direction in which America's democracy was heading. As the deadline for ratification approached, tensions reached a boiling point. The nation watched with bated breath as Congress prepared to vote on the amendment. The stakes could not have been higher. The outcome would determine the future of fundamental rights and state sovereignty in America. In a dramatic and suspenseful session, Congress finally voted. The result was narrowly in favor of ratification, a decision that sent shockwaves across the country. The fallout was immediate and intense. Supporters celebrated, believing they had secured a stronger, more unified nation. Opponents, however, were galvanized by the perceived injustice, vowing to continue their fight through legal avenues and civil activism. The ratification of the amendment marked a turning point in American history. It reshaped the political landscape, intensified the divisions within the country, and set the stage for ongoing battles over the balance of power between the federal government and the states.